performance is your game, if a drag is your bag, if you love horsepower, smoke, and speed in a safe, controlled atmosphere, then you've come to the right place. Performance on the line. Drag racing is a uniquely American sport. Started at the end of World War II by several Southern California communities, primarily to provide a safe alternative to street racing. Drag strips provide a safe, controlled environment for healthy competition. Now, this American sport has spread all over the world. To Australia, England, Canada, West Germany, to all people who love cars. Racing got competition off the street onto the strip, and all kinds of spectators into the stands. It did something else. It blossomed into an enormous sport with 20 million annual spectators, some 800 officially sanctioned drag strips, and no one knows how many drivers. For the best in drag racing, let's go to a typical weekend at California's Orange County International Raceway. They're all here. Professionals, amateurs, rails, funny cars, super stocks, and street machines. And they gathered early. Orange County Raceway is where it's at, one of the finest strips in the nation.
How about last year stock entries versus hot car entries?
Well, let's take a look and see how we did last year. Looks to me, Mike, that we're up about 10% on our stock and high-performance car entries beyond last year, which indicates that we should continue with that type of racing, don't you?
Yeah, except that if you look here, you'll see that in the ET brackets, the cars that the factory high-performance models, the ones that comprise brackets 2 and 3, have increased a lot more than what you might call the hot rod brackets.
Orange County Raceway runs like a well-tuned machine itself, and these two talented young men, Bill White and Mike Jones, make it go. Mrs. White and Mrs. Jones are part of the action, too, as are enthusiasts' wives from Bakersfield to Bangor. The control tower is where they put it all together, where they keep tabs on everybody's run of a quarter mile and the elapsed time it takes to scream past the finish lights.
Okay, here we go, the big thunderball. Drops it into second here, he's short shifting. Let's see how he makes out at the end of the quarter. Running good on the top end, through high gear. 11:84 lap time, really getting with the program. Down speed of 121.28 miles per hour.
Every few seconds, there's a new race and a new winner. Racers blast away from a standing start, turning screaming speeds in a quarter mile. Professionals do it in around 6.5 seconds, sometimes reaching speeds as high as 240 miles per hour. By comparison, most jetliners on takeoff are barely making 90 miles per hour in the same distance. All shapes and sizes pair off for their one-on-one battle with the Crondex. There are 8 major divisions in drag racing involving stock cars, modified stock cars, and vehicles specially built solely to drag race. Here are the most exotic machines, the rails, creations of individual automotive genius, producing 1,500 to 1,800 brute horsepower. This bizarre cross between engine and director set takes a mechanic to get it running, a professional driver to keep it on the track, and a parachute to get it stopped. Even with all this fantastic horsepower, the drags have an outstanding safety record. In 1967, for example, in over 2 million miles of sanctioned dragging, there was not a single fatality. Both nationally recognized hot rod associations insist on car inspection, helmets, seatbelts, shoulder harnesses, and in some classes, flame-proof suits. Even this little old lady is wearing asbestos tennis shoes. Here you are, the people who make drag racing. A wholesome cross-section of America, especially young America. After all, it's the going thing. You're right in the heart of the action in drag racing. Able to share in the successes and failures. Seems like bench racing is half of the fun. Your pit pass gets you in on all the behind-the-scenes tinkering, like breakfast for this hungry mill, served a la supercharger. This could be you getting the latest hot setup for your machine from 4 drag team members such as Hubert Platt and Ed Terry, 2 of the quickest super stock drivers in the country. Ed Terry started in California with a flathead V8 in 1955 and has progressively gone up through the ranks of drag racing to a national reputation. Ford has let the drag racing world know that it's really here with the Georgia shaker Hubert Platt. Hubert has held national stock records for many years. And Tommy Grove, who winds up his 427 single overhead cam Mustang funny car to an incredible output of over 1,500 horsepower. Tom uses a rocket fuel, blending nitromethane and alcohol, a mixture so secret he won't even tell his wife. This kind of testing and common sense probing is actually done not so much for the professionals as it is for the amateur, the real backbone of drag racing. Only in the sport of drag racing can you be a spectator today, a participant tomorrow. Only drag racing offers you an economical opportunity to enjoy the thrill of real automotive competition under conditions of maximum safety. Your Ford dealer is here to supply you with the best parts and equipment to help you achieve more total performance, even if it's only for a grudge race night at the Strip. Ford drag teams touring the country supplying the best information, enabling you and your fellow Ford Drag Club members to enjoy the sport even more. For the first time in a year and a half, there was a Saturday rainout at Orange County. But as you know, it takes a lot more than occasional showers to put down a drag race's enthusiasm. The fans refused to believe that there would be a postponement. Finally, the officials had no choice. In the interest of safety, the track was closed until tomorrow. Sunday is here, and we have warm Southern California sunshine and an even bigger crowd. They're burning them in with those big ripple walls. Then some of them turn into Mr. Invisible for 8 or 9 seconds. In fact, some of the most crowd-pleasing runs are the one you can't see at all. Speaking of crowd pleasers, Ed Terry looks like he's ready to put all the competition on the trailer with his Cobra jet. Let's ride with Ed as he drops the hammer and really puts it to the wood. Riding 1320 in a fully prepared super stock with a professional driver is an experience few have had. Now, let's join the record-breaking Georgia shaker, Hubert Platt, and see his distinctive style in action.
You see, I went through the lights at about 6,800.
Yes, you know drag racing is a great sport, and Ford thinks so too. We're here to give you all the help we can. Ford will be rooting for you to win, and your Ford dealers and parts and service people are all eager to help you achieve top performance on the strip. The Ford drag team is here because we believe your enjoyment of this great sport can be increased as a member of your own Ford Drag Club. This is where it's at.
I bought my first car, 39 Ford, and I run it a little hard, and I lost a bear. And the man said, well, this car cost you $150 to get it fixed. I said, man, I didn't pay but $125 for it. So I took it back home, I took it apart, and I fixed it.
In 1961, I worked for a dealer in San Francisco, and I discovered by racing the cars, I could sell a lot of them. I went every week and gave up everything else. So this is what really got me going. I love the sport.
It's just normal people in drag racing. They're not some off-the-wall kooks or some jerks. Or most drag racers, they work hard at a regular job, and then they go to the track on the weekend and they race their car. And the backbone of drag racing is the individual that buys his car, and he does all his things, and then he goes to the drag races and he wins his trophy. It's something that every individual can do if he just tries hard enough. There are two separate categories in drag racing, pro and sports. Sports has four categories: competition eliminator, modified eliminator, super stock, and stock. Stock, of course, is the backbone of the sport. It has 36 different classes, which gives everyone a chance to run. The professional group also has four categories: top fuel, which are the AA dragsters that run on exotic fuels; top gas, which are dragsters running on regular gasoline; fuel funny cars, which are really dragsters with fiberglass bodies; and pro stock, which is a category that I run.
Pro stock is a 4-speed with a 427 SOHC engine in it, which is capable on the dyno at 690 horsepower. The pro stock car will run 135 to 140 mile an hour in the low 10s and the high 9s. Now, this car has to be equipped with roll bars because it runs that fast. You have to have an engine strap in case you were to blow a flywheels. I'm going to tell you, be sure and buy you a good helmet, not one of the cheap ones. I'm going to tell you, be sure and roll your fender wells. You didn't roll your wheel wells, what happened? The tires wobbled because we used the low profile tires. You cut a tire. If the old man upstairs with you, you're here. If not, you're gone. Why should you win with just because the guy's got a problem? I like to go over and help the guy go back and race him the next round and beat him. He says, well, why did you reply to help me fix my car? So I can beat you. That's what the people come here to see, right? And I'd like to see more people with this attitude.
Competition eliminator cars. Competition eliminator cars to the safety lane. Competition eliminator cars. You would qualify 2 cars, and he said he'll be back next year.
lot of people say, are you scared of the car because it's going 135 or whatever it's going and you're shifting 3 times? You've got a handful and you've got to shift it all the time. And that engine's up around 9,000 when you've got your foot to the floorboard and you're moving a lever. And it takes a lot, really. And when you dump the clutch at 6,000 RPM, you just sort of walk the car off the line and then feed into it gradually and then try to make your shifts around 8. And so we use between 9 and 10 pounds in the Goodyear tires. Now, I like the Goodyear, the fact that you don't have to do a lot of warm-up procedure. The tire will grip after 2 burnouts. Was in a funny car that was going over 200 miles an hour. All that you did with the funny car was steer it. Either the car hooked or it didn't. And now he thought it was going to be real simple jumping in this little Maverick with an overhead cam on gas and going 135. But he found he had his hands full, and he'll openly admit that it's a much tougher car to drive than the funny car was.
And you're probably safer on the drag strip than you are on the freeways. I mean, we have ambulances are there, and they're down at the end, and they're also on the starting line. They have fire extinguishers and all kinds of safety equipment there at the drag strip, and they safety inspect all cars before they let them run. Well, I think everybody thinks they have their own little tricks, but when it all boils down, it's just who has the most horsepower. Who can leave the best on the lights. That's where the drag race is won. It's won right out of the starting line. You can anticipate on the tree just a little. As the last yellow light comes on, you wind your engine up, and of course bonsai out of the gate at 7,000 or 8,000 RPMs. Speed is in the life of people. Competition among men is what it amounts to. It's getting on a drag strip and racing the cars down the track. That's what you call real clean competition. If we can just keep them off the street and keep them on the drag strip, nobody will get hurt and everybody will be happy in the long run.
Now, I'm a racer at heart, and I like to do this.
Just to go down the track 135 miles an hour would mean nothing to me. It's the idea is I want to beat the other fella.
If you've got talent with your engine, you've got talent in your driving, you can win a drag race.